When we say Yellowstone, the immediate thing that comes to mind is the Dutons, the family that is found in the famous ranch and is doing its best to keep it safe. So when watching the show, it's not surprising to root for a Dutton and want to see them thrive and be happy. But it's a bit unusual to be a fan of a non-Dutton character, since the majority of them have very little screen time and are relatively weaker characters compared to any Dutton. Well, this assumption might work for almost everyone except for Rip. Rip is an exceptional character for sure, not only due to his strong personality, but also his unique relationship with the Duttons. The funny thing is though, the actor who gives life to the part, Hauser, seems like not much fond of his on-screen character. Why? Well, let's find out together. As a non-Dutton, Rip is the biggest fan of the Duttons and is devoted to the family, sometimes even more than one of the family members. He has personal ties with almost every Dutton too. He sees John not as a father, but as a boss whom he owes everything to. He regards Casey as a best friend whom he can trust with his whole heart, and last but least, he sees the love of his life in Beth. Besides, he is raised on the Yellowstone ranch and had no chance of surviving in life if this wasn't the case. That's why he sees Yellowstone as a home and doesn't hesitate to put his life on the table for the ranch's interests. When John orders something, he never makes the mistake of questioning it. He's always respectful, loyal, and ready to serve. For years, we accepted him as such, knowing that he has the duty of loyalty to the family. In Season 5, Part 1 of Yellowstone, though, we finally got more details on why Rip feels so attached to the Duttons, particularly John. It turns out that he killed a man, and John helped him to cover this crime up in return for his utmost devotion to the ranch and himself. So this explains why Rip has turned out to be the man he is. The interesting thing is, although we all praise Rip's loyalty and stance in life, we often overlook the fact that he is basically a handyman to John who does his dirty work, including the killing. Well, turns out Hauser is also surprised that people do not care about Rip's questionable traits at all. In a recent interview, Hauser expressed that he was not expecting the people to be so fond of his character, Rip. I think it surprised Taylor too. He expressed, referring to the creator of the show, Taylor Sheridan. It's definitely not something that was ever on the table that we ever discussed. In fact, I think it was quite the opposite. Taylor was like, oh man, people are going to think you're fucking nuts. I wrote this scene the way you kill this guy or burn this guy, you know what I mean. And for whatever reason, it's worked the opposite, he said. Well, from these remarks, we deduce that Hauser himself is questioning the morality and righteousness of his on-screen character. In fact, he is probably not liking Rip much simply because he is basically a murderer with sociopathic traits. In normal circumstances, he is not a man to be liked. And yet, there's something about Yellowstone that makes us love even the most unlikable characters. We believe the main reason behind this is the fact that Rip is a multi-dimensional character, just like every other character on Yellowstone. Although he is a killer, he is also a passionate lover to Beth, a potential father to Carter, a hard-working manager to the ranchers, and a loyal friend to all the Dutons. All these make him a unique personality and much more than a simple killer. We believe we have to be thankful to Sheridan for creating such a complex character and making us question our own moral stance in life for rooting for a man like Rip. What are your thoughts on Rip? Do you consider him a likable character, or do you like him despite his shortcomings? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you